I grew up believing I was a product of my environment. This took away my control of my world. I was pretty well behaved as a child, but somehow I was led astray. Led astray by the glamorization of a gangster lifestyle and made to believe that carrying guns and attempting to kill those that look most like me to be normal. The first time I was shot at was when I was 15. After that day, I swore to myself I'd never get caught without mine again. There was no way I was going to be made to run and look like no fool. So for the next few years, I carried mine every single day. I never left home without it. It became like an accessory. I used it to earn money. I used it to keep me safe. I thought I needed it to survive. So I chose a certain lifestyle, which became my mental prison. Robbing, selling drugs, shootings, and deaths became normality. Infected by a disease I call street mentality. My life became like a movie. I wanted to be like old dog from Menace to Society. He's the character in the film that smoked the most weed, drank the most alcohol, and had no care for life whatsoever. As well as growing up to be known as the local gangster, and by gangsters I mean one of the shooters in the city, the guy in town who robs anyone stupid enough to trust him, the guy you could call to do bad things to people if you didn't want to get your hands dirty. As well as all that, I became quite well known for my music. Thousands of young people would watch my videos on YouTube. This meant I had a tool that would be used to carry this disease, this mindset, and infect thousands of others. I'm going to give you an example of one of my old songs, just to show you the kind of negativity that is being fed to the young people in our communities every single day. And this is not the only strand of negativity they are being fed. There are other strands like sex, drugs, living without a care, YOLO and all that. All right, I'm going to get into it. There ain't no time for no half-stepping. This youth just started repping. When I started busting my gun, it was in the art lesson. Straight from nursery to the school of gangsters. Years ago when mama sent me out to play with the bangers. Started breaking down fools like mangas, throwing up my six hard, had beef with Handsworth. Every day was madness, creeping through the night like a phantom. Had saw enough shotties when we couldn't get handguns. Ganja baby, so I'm definitely my dad's son. Don't kick ball, but my villa is Aston. Let me take a breath and go again. With a brand new strap, I'ma open up his head. Ain't no touching in the legs round here. It's brown bread, only God know man I fear. With that said, I'ma ride and go anywhere. Live life without any care. Skinny, but I got niggies like Nugs and Ruggy there. Now that is a very negative song. Serious? And this is the message that I grew up on. This is the same message that young people are being fed in our communities every single day. I'm not saying it's the only cause of the situation that we're in, but I am saying that it fuels the problem in a very big way. So I came to a point in my life where I wanted to see change. I felt very unhappy with this negative lifestyle. What could I do to unchain myself? What could I do to end this miserable living? I wrote a business plan. I put together a mini workshop for young people. I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to show young people a better way to live. I took my work to a few community organizations that were supposed to be there to help young men like me, but they couldn't help. I tried to get a job, but no company would hire me. I was way too much of a risk. So look, I tried to take a different path, but with no support, I quickly went back to what I was used to. This brought more trials and tribulations, but hey, it was what I was used to. Maybe there is no better life for me. Then I got involved in a documentary called 1 Mile Away. 1 Mile Away. Now, 1 Mile Away was a Channel 4 documentary that looks into the gang wars in Birmingham, and it tries to find a way to resolve them wars. At this time, I was still living the same sort of lifestyle, robbing, selling drugs, busting guns, all the rest of it. But I had already made the decision that I wanted change. I not only wanted to see change in my own life, I wanted to see change in my community. There was no way I was going to allow my children to be infected by this disease. I didn't want them growing up to believe that this life was normal. And I knew they would if I didn't do something. So I began to make those changes. But this meant I'd really have to go against the grain. I'd really have to go against everything I'd ever known and stood for. I found this very hard. Even now, it's a battle that most days I feel like I am losing. This has led me to be fighting 2 battles. One, which I believe I've already won, and the other, which I believe I'm still fighting. So the battle that I believe I've already won was with myself. Yes, I wanted to change, but it's not easy to stop living the only way you have ever known to live without another way to replace it. This had me living with 1 foot in and 1 foot out of a criminal lifestyle. Then I got myself arrested again. Thought I'd definitely be going back to jail. The charge weren't even that serious, but with a record like mine, it almost certainly meant a custodial sentence. I prepared myself to go back, but somehow I was given a chance and sentenced with an electronic tag. Now, I had a choice to make. This 1 foot in the life and 1 foot out wasn't going to work at all. Either I carry on living this miserable lifestyle, or I turn the thinking about change into action. While I was on electronic tag, I studied quite a bit. I was always reading and doing research. I began looking into the law and the difference between legal and lawful. That taught me a thing or two. I did a lot of research around history and traced my bloodline back to Syria. Now I know where my people came from and the massive impact they had on civilization. I also found myself being fascinated with the subject of consciousness and the power of thought. I quickly learned how easily the mind could be manipulated. Also, while being on electronic tag, I was given this crazy idea that I was in control of my own reality. When I first heard this, I was like, hold on. So you mean to say that I have put myself in this dark place? No way. Nah. I'm just a product of my environment. Then I had to re-evaluate the idea of being in control of your own reality. I said to myself, okay, so if I am in control of my own reality, why am I not living how I want to be living? Then the narrator in my head was like, remember when you were a child? I was like, yeah. He said, what did you want to be? I thought about it for a minute. And then it hit me. I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to be like Old Dog in Menace to Society. I wanted this life. It's just that when I wanted it, I had no real understanding of what this life was really all about. I was led to believe that doing all the right things were good and would help me to become successful. This is the reality I created for myself. But you know what? That's cool. That is totally fine. Because now I know. Now I'm conscious of it. I can shape it to my preference. This brings me to the present day, where I know I'm not a product of my environment. My environment is a product of me. I also know I have a powerful tool, which is music. Music is my art and can either be used to encourage people to kill each other or encourage people to grow and flourish as good, loving communities. People who don't live in our communities turn a blind eye, think it don't affect them. But the truth is, this affects us all. So, like they say in the superhero movies, with great power comes great responsibility. Use your art, your talent, to better humanity. Can you play the track, please? I'm going to finish with a song. Turn it up a little, just a little. Yeah, yeah. You can turn it up a little bit more if you want. Okay. If I could change the world, we wouldn't get harassed by cops. There'll be no guns, no 9, no Glocks. No hidden agenda for them government officials, but I can't see that changing. Let me bring back the pistol. Wouldn't be a war between Muslim or Christian, just a thug religion. Ain't no thugs in prison, no rich or poor, just comfy living. If I could change the world, nobody would be hungry. No more murder rate, drugs don't circulate. Weed grows like grass for brothers to burn away. Niggas are never bitches, bitches are never girls. Every man that treat his missus right, if I could change the world. Flight and synchronize like birds, but have no meaning. Strictly energies we deal with, no teeth in. There's enough to go around the village. If I could change the world, here's what I'd change it.
If I could change the world, I'd take the pain from all their hearts. If I could change the world, I'd give them all a better start. If I could change the world, turn rough diamonds into pearls. Give us our freedom.
Okay.
Our freedom.
Yeah, hold on. There'll be no self-hatred, not a name racist. Brothers with on gold, land, acres. Meditation got me thinking deep. Is this a place where you can manifest your dreams? I wouldn't change the weather though, I'd let it be. For certain things to change, certain things to leave. Knowledge of self is key, so if I could change the world, it would be peak car. Every man would have the power to free himself. He ain't free-minded, he probably ain't feeling well. Lost in the world in need of help. Alter within, cause within reflects us out. A place where we all play our position. Little kids would never go missing. If only y'all could change it with my lyrics. If I could change the world, here's what I'd change in it.
If I could change the
Okay.
world, I'd take the pain from